Welcome to Owner Optional, the podcast for business owners who want companies that run without them. I'm James, your host. I've been a small business consultant all across the country for about 10 years now, and I've been a small business owner myself for about 20. Together, we break down how to build real businesses, not jobs, so that they can become assets that can grow, scale, be sold, and ultimately run without you. If you want freedom, leverage, and long-term value, you're in the right place. For more information, you can visit our website at lotuspe.us. That's lotuspe.us. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for being here. My name is James, and this week we have a question from a shop owner named Jake. He says, "Hey James, my name's Jake. I own an auto repair shop in East Windsor, Connecticut, and I've got a technician who's been with me a long time, and honestly, I'm struggling what to do. I recently attended a seminar of yours on recruiting, hiring, and training technicians, and it was pretty insightful. I really would like your point of view. He's my highest paid tech, but his production is low, quality is slipping, and his attitude is usually pretty negative. When I walk into the shop, I can almost feel that something is off. It feels like there's been someone talking behind my back based on how the other techs interact with him and how they interact with me when he's in the room. The frustrating part is that when I sit down and talk with him, the conversation always goes smoothly. He says the right things, agrees with the feedback, and acts like he's on board, but nothing actually changes. Production doesn't improve, quality doesn't improve, and the negativity keeps showing up. I'm trying to do the right thing, but I don't know if I'm being patient or avoiding a hard decision. How should a shop owner handle something like this?" Jake, that's a great question. It's incredibly relevant, and I can sum this all up really in just one quick statement. Many years ago, when I was learning how to be a shop owner, and not that I'm perfect now, but I get better every single day and through every single discussion and conversation and situation. And somebody once told me many years ago that you can define somebody's success by their ability to have tough conversations. Sometimes when we have somebody in a shop that is, I guess for lack of better words, a cancer or a poison, they'll take the whole business down with them. And so when we approach a situation like this, we live in the world of expectation and consequence. Some people will say that if you say that there is a consequence to something, that is a threat, but that is not the reality. There's expectation and there's consequence. And so I expect these things of you. I expect you to come in and show up on time, and I expect you to produce a certain amount of work, and I expect a certain level of quality, right? And then for us as owners or managers, we hold them to that standard. And if not, there needs to be right? There needs to be some type of a defined consequence that they know is going to happen, whether it's initially a loss of bonus, in some cases a suspension, in some cases a termination. But the reality is that we need to hold them to that. Otherwise, the bad behavior will continue. What I find in a lot of these cases, more times than not, is that owners and managers, when we begin to talk with them about long-term staff, they are keeping somebody from what I call a scarcity mindset instead of an abundance mindset. And that scarcity mindset usually kind of pops up because they are terrified to get rid of that producer or that good tech, or they've been there for a long time, or they're worried about terminating somebody because they're afraid that somebody else will leave. The reality is here that that person will eventually tank your shop if you think that they are that bad. You're probably not wrong in your read of the other people in the shop too. I've seen it. I've had it happen. I've watched it happen too many times. And so what I would most likely do in this situation is sit him down and base it on facts and not emotions, not feelings, right? We tend to hire people for who they are, right? And or hire them for what they know and then terminate them for who they are. And in most cases, people, when you have to let them go, they will ultimately fire themselves. And so while I'm not advocating for that now, I just want to give you kind of a firm game plan that you should stick to make sure that you get this tech either on board or off board pretty rapidly. And so the first thing is that when we have this abundance or scarcity mindset, to kind of call it back to that, the easiest way to describe this is like when we start working with a shop, they'll say, I I need to make enough money so I don't go broke this week. I need to make sure that the bank account stays above zero and then I can just pay my bills. And so that is a scarcity mindset. The abundance mindset is the opposite to that. It's more, well, how do I hit my goals? And so the same thing is true with technicians. We need to hold them accountable and make sure that they're doing the job that we need them to do, because at the core of it, it's just like having a baseball team. We want to make sure that we've got people on our team that are hitting home runs all the time, especially if we're paying them to hit home runs. And in this case, you're paying him to produce, you're paying for efficiency, you're paying for quality. And if he is a veteran tech in your shop, you're paying him to be a leader, because other people that are in the shop that have come in after him, regardless of whether his quality is good or not, if he is kind of, walking through the day, they will do the same thing because they're going to see that, that is okay. And so when shop owners typically hesitate on holding someone accountable to their actions, there's a couple reasons, right? One, they're acting on emotion and they're not acting on fact. And so I would write out whatever expectations you're looking for. You need to produce this, you need to do A, B, and C by this time. Otherwise, there's a problem. The next thing is that you need to be able to hold him accountable, because if you don't, he's never going to think that you're going to. And so sometimes long-term goals don't align, behavior doesn't align. And again, sometimes we have to fire them for who they are, or let them go, or just part ways. There are many ways to part ways with somebody without actually terminating them and hurting their job record. And so when we find these shops and these shop owners and these business owners that are struggling with terminating, it's usually because they don't have a pool of people to hire from. So when we are marketing for customers, we know that not everybody is going to have a broken car today. And so that's why we need to market consistently, because it's all about right message, right time, right? And so not everybody needs the repair today, but maybe they need it tomorrow. And if we only marketed today and we don't market tomorrow, we might not be in front of them. And the same holds true for technicians. Sometimes when we're looking for them, it's only because we need them, and we'll hire them out of that scarcity mindset. They're available, they have the core competencies that we might need, and so we'll hire them, and we could bring on the wrong person. And that's a terrifying place to be. When we hire from an abundance mindset, it's because just like how we're marketing for customers all of the time, right? If we got the right message at the right time, we're always looking for them. We'll always find good customers, and we can easily weed out bad ones, because the reality is there are some bad customers out there too. When we're constantly looking for technicians and we're constantly trying to bring in the best players on our team that can hit these home runs for us, they're not necessarily looking today, but maybe they're looking tomorrow. And so my recommendation here is, one, make sure you have a bullpen that you can hire from. Make sure you have a regular list of people that you're always talking to. Some people will say, well, this is dishonest or something like that. I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is at all, because, again, to use the analogy of a baseball team or a football team, you are always looking for the best players to put on your team. And the reality is that we as business owners are trying to build the best all-star team that we possibly can, so that they can obviously create a really, really incredible product for our customers. It creates a really, really positive work environment for everybody. And ultimately, it's going to help make sure that your business is consistently hitting home runs. And so what I would say is just sit him down, talk to him, and stay fact-based. Hey, look, these are the things that I see that are fact-based that you're doing wrong, right? Or maybe not doing wrong. It's just areas for opportunity. These are places I see that you can get better. I see that your production is down to 50%, and we really need it up no less than 80. And I see that your, efficiency is low as well. And this is the number I want you to be up around, again, 80% or something like that. And, you're having too many comebacks, or you're having too many second calls. And second calls, for those that don't know, if tech, say, pulls in a vehicle and he inspects the brakes, and you've had him pull the wheels off, and now the advisor calls the customer and says, all right, you just need pads and rotors. Then the technician starts doing the job and is like, well, guess what, Mr. Manager? Now I need 2 calipers and a line and and a master cylinder. Now you call the customer, and you have lost trust in an industry where people typically don't trust us until we give them reason to trust us. And so a second call while it could make sense on the surface, we've just charged that customer to look at the brakes. And whether we just wrote that cost off because now the wheels are already off and we do the job, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we've called the customer and we've built trust with digital vehicle inspections and everything, saying that we have looked at the vehicle. Then you call them back and you say, okay, now I need this extra stuff after I've already promised you that I looked at the vehicle. That could be a really challenging call, and so we base our expectations on things that we can easily and just inarguably measure, right? Like, there is no way to say that this wasn't a second call. There is no way to say that this wasn't a comeback. There is no way to say that you missed efficiency or productivity, which for those that don't know, the difference between productivity is like, are they productive through the week? How many hours were they able to produce in that given week? How much work were they able to do? And efficiency is just how quick they were able to do it. And so what we do is we just set the standard, and you don't want to set it too high. You don't want to make it a bar that they can't reach, but you just want to make it something that is easy to measure and easy to hold them accountable to. And then from there, set the consequence. Hey, look, if you can't do this, these things need to happen, or this consequence is going to happen. You're going to get suspended, or you're going to lose a bonus, or something is going to happen that makes sense in your shop. And then from there, it's really easy to hold them accountable to that, as long as you have a bullpen to hire from, so that you can continuously do what you need to do, but from an abundant mindset and not a scarcity mindset. Jake, I really want to thank you for the call, man. I hope you are, not the call, but the question. And I really hope you understand that it is not you. You are not alone. A lot of people go through this same thing, but this is a really basic problem that will really be solved pretty rapidly and pretty easily by the way that you handle it. And the best owners and the best managers are able to have these difficult conversations and set the standards, but we're also able to take feedback. So in some cases, we can find that, like, while we may hire based on attitude, aptitude, and ethics, the main part of that is giving them the accountability that they need to do the job, right? And we also want to make sure that they have the time, tools, and training, which accountability also pairs with that as well. And so, man, I really thank you for the question, and I hope that the answer makes sense to you. And you're also welcome to call us anytime that you want, or reach back out if you have anything follow-up. And if you're listening and you have questions, you can go right to our website, lotuspe.us, and feel free to submit a question if you have one. And I hope you listen to the next show and you're enjoying what you hear. Thanks for listening to Owner Optional. If you want to learn more how we help shop owners build businesses that don't depend on them, visit lotuspe.us. That's lotuspe.us. We'll see you in the next episode, and thank you so much for listening.